Hey guys, it's Master Allen. I'm going to take a quick second in this video to go over your orange belt kicks today. Now your orange belt kicks, there are two and only two. You got the roundhouse kick and the cross behind side kick. Now you may remember with your yellow belt kicks, you had the stepping stool kick, which had been in an animal you learned at white belt. Well, the roundhouse kick is the kick that we deliver in Whipping Dragon. Now this kick has got a lot of ways that we can do it beyond just how you first learn it in Whipping Dragon. In Whipping Dragon, we pivot off the side, off the line to a dragon stance, to a dragon hug, and then we do 3 roundhouse kicks. And so when we say roundhouse kick, what we mean, or what we expect, is that you have your toe pointed, your leg is long, and you're thinking about making contact with kind of this part of your shin, almost like that bone coming around to hit. You can hit with the top of the foot, but that isn't necessarily the most effective way to throw a roundhouse kick. If you do it incorrectly, it's actually easy to hurt your ankle. If you're swinging your leg with a whole lot of power and you hit something really sturdy and you make contact with sort of the lace part of your shoe, that can be rough on your leg. Whereas if you're hitting with the end of the bone, it's a lot easier for your body to kind of absorb that power. Now, the roundhouse kick off the lead leg is sort of what we do in Whipping Dragon. So the lead leg, it comes around and it's going to strike around from the side. You may remember from some of the hand strike videos, I talked about how when a strike or a kick comes around from the sides, that we give it the name or the word roundhouse. So the roundhouse kick comes around. So I can move through a flamingo just like my other kicks. I rotate my hip and I deliver the foot coming around. Now, you can deliver this to a lot of different heights and a lot of different targets. That roundhouse kick off the front leg should feel really familiar. You can also do this out of a side horse stance. For a lot of people, this is sort of the easiest way to practice this kick initially. So a side kick, I deliver my kick going out. The power goes that way. A roundhouse kick, I pick up my foot in the same way, but the power is going to come around from the side. So it gives me a different way to deliver power to a target if it's sitting right here. Later on, you're going to learn a hook kick. It's going to do something similar just from an opposite direction. And so, roundhouse kick from the side horse stance, the lead leg. I pick my foot up through my flamingo, and I throw the kick. And that's your lead leg roundhouse kick. Now the back leg roundhouse kick is a little bit more complex. So if I'm in my fighting stance, or a half moon stance, or something where I've got one foot in front of the other, and my hips and shoulders are sort of square, instead of like a side horse stance where I'm turned away. Then I start the back leg roundhouse kick like it's a front kick. So just a second ago, we started our roundhouse kick like it was a side kick. Now we're going to start it like it's a front kick, and then we've got to pivot our base foot. And so, as my foot comes up, I have to turn my hip over in order to deliver that roundhouse kick around. So as I come up and I pivot, that allows me to get my hip around to throw the kick on that line. And so I want my roundhouse kick to be able to come around, pop, and then come back and return myself to my balance. So I kind of turn and turn back, at least for right now when I practice it this way. You can also throw a roundhouse kick where you land through instead of needing to turn back. But as you practice this, if you practice the pivot, turn back, it helps you get the balance down to do the pivot, and then you can start doing more things with it. And one of the things with the roundhouse kick that makes it a kick a lot of people employ for a lot of stuff is because it comes off of a flamingo that makes it look like it's going to be linear. It can be a very deceptive kick if you have good control of your targeting. And so practicing the roundhouse kick to different heights is a really important part of not just mastering your balance, but also being able to use that kick in a lot of different ways. Your last orange belt kick is the cross behind side kick. For a long time, this was actually my favorite kick in our system. And so, if I'm in a side horse stance, this is a cross in front. This is a cross behind. And so you'll notice, as I move, this foot, as it crosses behind, my belt knot is now pointed away from the direction that I'm moving. So if I'm moving this way, I cross behind, my body's pointed over here, my movement's going that way, and from here I throw a side kick. Now if you don't have a lot of space to practice this, you can cross behind, side kick, and then do a dragon footwork, which you're going to work on in your orange belt footwork section. So I cross behind, side kick, cross, cover. Cross behind, side kick, cross, cover. And so if I've got to practice the cross behind side kick in a really small space, that can be a really good way to do it. Another thing I can do is cross behind, side kick, and then land down. That makes me work on my balance in a different way. So it's really good to do both and kind of mix it up. Now when I go in the opposite direction again, I cross behind and I side kick, and then I can cross cover, dragon footwork, or cross behind, side kick, land down. So these are your orange belt kicks. You've got the roundhouse kick and the cross behind side kick. Now, anytime you're practicing kicks, you need a lot of space, so make sure you pay attention to the spot around you before you start practicing. Come back to this video as often as you need to and reference it anytime you're not exactly sure if you're doing something correct or if you just need a refresh while you're practicing through your stuff. I'll see you again soon.